Welcome stakeholders and senior leaders to this explainer. Today we're talking about unlocking exponential returns, and we're doing it straight from your shop floor. Look, we aren't talking about massive capital expenditures. We aren't talking about buying all new equipment or hiring a completely new workforce. We're talking about the TMQ approach: target, meet, and qualify. It's a strategic, unified method to completely eliminate the hidden drag on your operations. So let's dive right in.
I want to hook you right away with this number, 94%. According to Dr. W. Edwards Deming, the father of modern quality management, 94% of organizational problems are systemic. They are absolutely not the fault of individual workers. When a machine breaks down, a shift underperforms, or materials get wasted, it's almost always a symptom of an inadequate or unsupported system. It's not just a standalone failure.
And when a system is left unsupported, we run right into this: futility. Futility is basically the invisible cost draining your ROI every single day. It's the repeated rework, the redundant task, the literal duct tape applied to a machine rather than preventing the breakdown in the first place. It happens whenever our system is ignored. So the bottom line here is that to eliminate futility, we absolutely have to support the system.
Here's our executive field guide for today's explainer. We'll start with the cost of operational futility, then move into TMQ, a unified system approach, and the 5 pillars of manufacturing. After that, we'll be unmasking the 1/2 rule, tracking success with TMQ worksheets, and wrapping up with exponential returns and next steps.
All right, Section 1, the cost of operational futility.
You know what you see in a pristine boardroom spreadsheet often completely masks the shop floor reality, where a machine might literally be catching fire. An unsupported system breeds chaos. From a plant manager's perspective, this looks like shift-level competition, where workers are hoarding tools just to hit their own metrics, reactive maintenance that's just patching up failures, and completely unqualified inputs. But a supported system creates a unified rhythm. Maintenance becomes proactive, methods are standardized, and the entire setup is stabilized. It's a night-and-day difference.
Moving on to Section 2, TMQ, a unified system approach.
So this is the support the system cycle, integrated with the TMQ method. To actually sustain the setup, we have to target what matters, identifying those critical standards. Then we meet minimum viable thresholds through careful measurement and action. And finally, we qualify the components, making sure every single part of the operation actively supports the system. Target, meet, qualify. It's a continuous dynamic cycle that turns isolated categories into one unified setup. Which brings us to Section 3, the 5 pillars of manufacturing. Every single manufacturing operation is built on these 5 pillars, and honestly, it helps to think of them like a human body. Manpower is the muscle, machines are the bones. Maintenance is the nervous system, sending signals and triggering interventions. Materials are the flow, like the blood. And methods are the coordination, the brain, tying the whole shebang together. Now here's why this matters to you. If one pillar fails, the others are instantly disrupted. If your manpower is underqualified, your machines suffer excessive downtime. If your materials are inconsistent, well, your elite methods become completely useless. They have to be supported simultaneously.
Now let's dive into Section 4, unmasking the 1/2 rule.
Across all those 5 pillars we just discussed, half of the activity is underperforming the top half. This isn't a judgment, it's just cold, hard data. The bottom 50% of your manpower, machines, and materials causes the vast majority of systemic drag. While your top 50% is out there producing your steady output, the bottom half is actively disruptive, just silently eating away at your profit margins.
Let's look at a really concrete example. Half of all maintenance work is performed on less than half the machines. For a plant manager, this means a daily headache where a tiny cluster of problem-prone machines is just draining skilled technicians' time. Meanwhile, the rest of the setup operates blindly, totally vulnerable to unexpected breakdowns because they aren't getting the preventative care they need. The 1/2 rule exposes these imbalances so we can actually step in and correct them.
Getting a bit more tactical now with Section 5, tracking success with TMQ worksheets.
Using the TMQ core worksheet, plant managers break operations down into target, meet, and qualify. Let's take machine uptime. The target is 90%. We meet it by reviewing weekly logs. We qualify it by confirming the machine is actually system supportive, or otherwise it gets flagged for maintenance. Plant managers use these worksheets not to micromanage, right, but to effectively mentor shift leads. It elevates operations from theoretical compliance to actual unified integration. Because at the end of the day, you can't manage what you don't measure.
And to address that 1/2 rule we talked about, we use the futility tracker. If the top half of operators hit 120 units while the bottom half hit 75, we don't just blindly blame the operators. Plant managers use this tool to ask, why is the bottom half dragging? Is it a lack of training, misaligned roles? Corrective action is immediately assigned. It forces leadership to find the root cause of the futility rather than just throwing up their hands and accepting it as a cost of doing business.
Shift leads are mentored through these 3 steps every single day. Step 1, target critical standards to remove ambiguity. Step 2, meet minimum thresholds, prove it with data. Step 3, qualify as system supportive, meaning you certify that the person, machine, or method actually sustains the setup. When leadership mentors their teams through this exact step-by-step sequence, futility is eliminated right at the source.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, exponential returns and next steps.
Wherever there is chaos, there is an unsupported system. I really want this quote to stick with you. Exponential returns in manufacturing do not come from massive, disruptive capital expenditures, and they sure don't come from forcing your workforce to just work harder and eventually burn out. No, they come from holistically supporting the system you already have in place. When manpower, machines, maintenance, materials, and methods are jointly supported, the whole setup becomes this incredible, self-reinforcing engine. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. You don't need more budget. You don't need more man-hours. What you need is to identify futility, apply the TMQ framework, and eliminate the drag of that bottom 50%. The tools are right there in your hands. The real question is, are you ready to support the system you already have? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Go out there and start targeting, meeting, and qualifying today.